creating content change your life? And I know you've used change in this conversation already, and they can mean a lot of times the same things. But you then saying, okay, I'm going to get on the creator side of this as opposed to just the consumption. I know you're going to consume content, of course, but now you're creating content. Obviously I can understand and we can start predicting why content creation changed your life because the book you put out, the TED Talk. But like when you say that, like, what are you meaning?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's like, I feel like what moves the world forward is just other people. You know what I mean? So like what my dad, for example, like my parents, they came from Egypt to America. Like what they did is going to move my life forward. What their parents did or whoever impacted their life is going to move them forward. Like that's how the world moves forward. If we didn't have Martin Luther King and like all the people who helped start the civil rights, like, Black people would be slaves, like still, you know what I mean? Like that's just how the world works. And that's the way that I view it. So it's like, if Tim Ferriss changed my life, I sort of now have like a responsibility to do the same thing. And like, what's crazy is that I started to create content like pretty consistently, like every day, starting from like 2018. And like since then, I've met other like past mini versions of me. Earlier this year or like last year, I don't remember. Some random guy invited me on his podcast. He was like literally a college student. He had a podcast that had like over 150 episodes. This guy's been grinding for years. And like he literally told me that like I changed his life and like I helped him realize this and that. And it's like I've met so many people like that. Where it's just like, I understand that like, I'm just like a force of nature. The same way that Tim Ferriss is a force of nature. Like we're all here together, constantly like pushing the world forward, pushing people's lives forward so that they can push other people's lives forward. And you know what I mean? And so that's like part of the beauty of life. And it's honestly like one of the few things that motivates me. And I saw this one time like in front of my eyes. Like in 2019, I think, or 20, it was like beginning of 2020, like right before COVID hit. I remember I went to a mall with my parents. And this is a mall that I don't really like go to that often, but I remember growing up in this mall and like as a kid, like running around here. But I remember just like randomly going to the mall with my parents. And I remember like this guy, maybe he's like 40, 45. I'm like walking with my parents. He like walks up to me and he's like, yo, are you Mark Metry? He's like, yo, I've been following you on LinkedIn for years. And he like literally like details this entire story in front of my parents, like, well, they're just like, what the where literally like, he just like details on how like, he literally didn't have a job. He was suicidal. He was obese. He randomly found me on LinkedIn, started to look at my content, started to listen to my podcast, started to do the things that I did. And like literally changed his entire life. He's super healthy. He's ripped now. He had a job. He started his own company. He was literally like, dude, I'm having an audio about it. Like, I can't even believe this is you. And like, just having a moment like that and having like different moments like here and there, all that stuff has like helped affirm to me. But also at the same time, like it's very easy to forget that. Like during quarantine in 2020, when I was just inside of my house on Zoom all day, even though I was talking to other people, it's just like, it's not the same. And there were so many times where I just like completely forgot, honestly, like who I was, what I even stood for, and that's why like ever since the world started to open back up, it's been a long time. It's just made everything better, because we're getting back into like these cycles where people are helping each other and people are working with each other. Like we need that as humans. Like you can't opt out of that, even if you want to.
Content Matterz with a Z is our content marketing company that helps entrepreneurs tell their own stories to those who care. And here's the thing. We think every entrepreneur that is willing should have their own content platform. And we want to help make that happen, both by working directly with entrepreneurs and by sharing our own stories, exploring the craft of content marketing. Content Matterz, one piece of content at a time. Learn more at KazContent.com.